Double knotted, nice and tight on the foot.
For Frankie Ferriera,
Good, let's get your gear on.
one of the greatest joys in his young life is suiting up.
Just a football player just like the rest of them. All right, here you go.
Shoulder pads, helmet, and true grit, check.
Got it?
The 9-year-old digs in for practice 5 days a week.
He gives 110% at all times. That's Frankie.
Football, the nose guard's favorite sport.
This is Frankie's passion, his joy.
Parents Paul and Colleen never far from the sidelines.
I'll cut the stripe around that.
The Bulldogs of the Chesterfield Quarterback League hone their skills.
He's all business when he gets on the football field. It's awesome to see that.
Defense! Come on!
But Frankie's biggest foe doesn't wear a uniform.
It's almost like a ticking time bomb. You just don't know. And then we could wake up tomorrow and, it's a bad day, and that bad day doesn't go away.
2.5 years ago, Frankie experiences shoulder soreness and weakness in his arms. Fruitless testing frustrate mom and dad.
I will not have my kids in pain.
Doctors finally deliver a diagnosis at the start of COVID.
He's taken it better than we all have.
FSHD muscular dystrophy is a rare disease that attacks the body's muscles.
The first phone call was very shocking, and I spent a lot of day. I was actually hiding in our playroom away from the kids because I couldn't talk without crying.
There is no known cure.
The core of it essentially is your muscle tissue breaks down, and then it doesn't come back.
Colleen and Paul admire their little boy's strength in the face of his lifelong struggle.
I'm a mom waiting for another shoe to drop at all times. That's how I describe it to people.
Frankie is keeping his disease at bay with physical activity.
It's a terrible thing to know, but the fact that we know that this young in his life helps us adjust for that in the future. Helps adjust to help him be a better individual in the future.
Football is proving the best medicine.
As soon as football season's over, last year and the year before, he started having little side effects of things that, because he wasn't moving as much.
The 4th grader at Mosley Elementary is fighting muscular dystrophy on another front: money.
He's the kindest kid. That's the word that everybody uses to describe him.
In 2 years, Team Fearless Frankie has raised nearly $60,000 for researchers at Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU, a place the patient is all too familiar with.
It really showed me how much, when you put good out in the world to people, how much good comes back to help us fight this until we can find a cure for this, because we're going to find a cure for this.
Frankie is a fundraising machine. Before his diagnosis, Frankie raised $6,000 for Southside SPCA selling lemonade.
I really, really like animals, so I wanted to help animals that didn't have homes.
He's always had the biggest heart, where he has a servant heart. He wants to help. He's the first to volunteer for anything.
Raising the most money for the hospital that helps him in a time of need motivates Frankie every day.
So I can find a cure for my disease, so other kids can feel better. I want them to feel like regular kids.
In December, Frankie was honored with the Strongest Steel Award for his dedication.
We want to make sure that every minute that he has to play, that he can play. Anytime he wants to be on the field, he's on the field.
The tireless athlete promises to play while he still can and lead by example.
If it was on a scale from 1 to 10, it would be an 11.
I am the luckiest dad in the world to have him as my kid. I mean, he is just an amazing individual.
Frankie Ferriera, the athlete determined to tackle his opponents on and off the gridiron.
There's a reason that he has this disease. There's a reason that he was given it to, because he's the one that's going to fight. And, we're going to be there with him fighting.
September is Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Month. If you'd like to help out Fearless Frankie with his cause, I have a link to his fundraising page on our show website. You got this, Frankie, and go Bulldogs. For Heroes Among Us, I'm Greg McQuade, CBS 6 News.